Hey everybody, Chris, Four Directions Bushcraft. Just wanted to do a quick video on pressure flaking and some of the techniques that I use, and they might be helpful to you. So stay tuned. Alright, so what I do is I just take my piece of leather and I fold it into fours. I put my my flint on there, and then I just wrap my hand around it and hold my flint like this, and then I pressure flake on my leather. A copper point just in a piece of white pine. I wrapped it in 550, and this is a flattened down piece of copper, just like that. I file them down, and I made this one flat to do my notches. So when I say I'm going to take a series of flakes up, so I started there and I've gotten to there. So I just keep on flaking up and shaping the rock as I want. Then I flip it over, and I'm going to do this side. But as you notice, this rock has a pretty steep face here, and it's bent. So I'm going to have to deal with that eventually. It might not turn into a very good point, but for demonstration purposes, I'll try to show you. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, Will Lord is a great flint napper. I mean, the guy can sit there and nap just about anything in about 15 minutes. He's pretty amazing to watch, so look him up. Mitch from Native Survival also does some flint napping, and he's pretty darn good at it as well, so look him up as too. But see how you can tell that I'm already starting to form that pretty good. And it takes a lot of pressure to do this, of course, hence the word pressure flaking. I try to just muscle it out like this. It really wears your hands down. But a lot of people will use a longer knapping pressure flaker, a longer pressure flaker. You can use antler tides, you can use copper, and you can also do percussion flaking, which I'm not very good at. But a lot of people use their legs as a little more leverage, so you can really get in there and push on that flake. So what I do is I flake them, and then I roughen them up, and that allows me to get longer flakes through the stone. This technique takes a lot of time to get down. That's the flake I just took out. See how it went a little farther in? So I prepared that edge just like we were doing on our bifacing and spalling. I prepared that edge and it went a little farther. It went a little crooked though. This rock might not be good. But I don't like to give up on anything. So I'm going to try to turn it into a masterpiece. So now I'm on to the other side, and I just kind of switch sides depending on So see, you can see where I'm taking flakes off, and I stopped right there. Depending on what my rock looks like, I'll just switch sides back and forth and get this to a point. So I'll usually scrape up along these edges and then pop one out. And you can see how long them flakes are that I just took out of that one. Scrape up to prepare the edge, then pop out. But this one has a real long way to go, and I just want to show you some of the basic techniques that you can use. You can get into this very easily. Go out there, make yourself a pressure flaker, buy a piece of copper from the hardware store, stick it in a piece of pine, file it down to a point, and start practicing. Another good method that I use with these is I'll take my hammerstone. A lot of people like to use cinder blocks, and they'll rub them side to side on a cinder block. Essentially, it's the same thing as roughing up your biface areas. You're just bringing those fine points to a dull face, so you can flake farther into the flake, or farther into the piece of flint. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. Takes off all the real sharp edges, and you can form better doing that. Got to be real careful when you get up to these points. It'll snap off really easy on you. So I just continue to go down both sides like that. I'm going to shape this up a little better, but I'm running out of time. So I just wanted to show you and mention, see how the back is pretty thick still? I'm going to have to work platforms off of that, and it'll raise up to about right here. So the arrowhead will be probably a little bit shorter for sure, because that's too thick to bind into the shaft of the arrow. You got to be careful doing the back, because I've broken a lot of arrows in half because you're holding on to the arrow here and you're applying pressure to the back. It's just, it ends up after you, now I haven't shaped this up enough, but after I get done shaping this up, it becomes pretty fragile, and typically I do the notches last. So if I'm applying a lot of pressure here and knapping this back out, normally that's when they crack in half, or when I'm notching them. So I'm working on the back of this, and I just wanted to show you what I do is I create platform, flip it over, create a platform, flip it over until it thins itself out. The best way to learn how to do this is obviously get a piece of flint and start doing it. It's hard to kind of explain. So I've significantly reduced the bottom of that. Cleaned it up a little bit. It's still got a couple of thick platforms on there, but it's starting to get there. The overall shape is there, but it's still quite rounded. So this really wouldn't be a very good hunting. You know, I could take this point down to about, excuse me, to about right here, and make a good decent bird point out of it. So even though this is not done, I'm running out of daylight, so just wanted to show you guys. It's kind of rough, but I'm gonna try to put a couple of notches in here just for the sake of things. I just use my flat point on the bottom, and what I do is I try to brace it as much as I can here, and what I do is I figure out where I want to put them. I put a notch in like this. Then I put a notch in on the other side of that, so further down the stone, like such. One there and one there. And then I just clear out the center of that. You can kind of see, notch, notch, clear out the center. So then I flip it over. And because of those platforms that I made, I can go ahead and notch further in. So I use my flat piece, notch. This stone is kind of bent, so, and then notch. And then I'll clear out the middle. See how that's starting to go? Now I'll flip it over, and now I have real sharp platform there. I do the same thing, notch, notch, clear out the center. This is normally where I end up breaking them. Now I flip it over and kind of do the same. Flip it over and do the same. Alright, so not the most beautiful arrowhead. It's about the size of my finger, up to my first knuckle, I guess. So it's pretty good in size. The only thing I don't like about it, obviously, is I'd have to take it down a little bit in order to get rid of that. So as far as an effective game tip, probably wouldn't be the best. It probably wouldn't fly too good, but for demonstration purposes, and you can tell kind of some of the techniques, and it's not my most beautiful point, but you know, just out here having fun anyway, practicing up. So go out there, try to do yours, and it's not as easy as it looks, but it's a lot of fun and it's a heck of a challenge, and you will get addicted to it really, really quick. So anyway, thanks for hanging out in the woods with me today, and thanks for your views, your comments, and support, and I will see you on the next one, guys. Have a good day.